95 to 99% of who we are. How do we respond to stress, anxiety, or a tough situation? All of these are based on encoded subconscious patterns in the brain. The human brain is bombarded with approximately 11 Mbps of data every second. The conscious mind can only process between 10 to 50 bits, which means 99.999% of that data is being processed by your subconscious brain. How can you say that I want to make better decisions if when I wake up in the morning, I have to ask a gadget whether I slept well or not? There are so many people who come to us saying, I want to meditate, but I just can't. Because every time I close my eyes and start being quiet or try to be with myself, all my past trauma comes to me. Help you understand why you are the way you are, what makes you you, just by reading your subconscious brain network patterns.
Namaste everyone. Today we are here in Kanha Shanti Vanam on the occasion of International Health and Wellbeing Seminar. We welcome here Kumaar Bagrodia, who is a neuroscientist and is also often known as India's brain enhancer. Welcome to Kanha Shanti Vanam, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
As you have experienced the meditation over here, sir, and seen in Heartfulness, we meditate to refine our consciousness. You speak about helping people objectively and understand and enhance their subconscious patterns. Can you please tell us more about that?
Great question, Divya. As I said in my lecture earlier, 95 to 99% of who we are and why we behave the way we do are our thought patterns, our attitudes, our mindset, habits, our cognitive skills. How do we respond to stress, anxiety, or a tough situation? How do we go about life in terms of our self-discipline or managing addictions or our attention, memory? All of these are based on encoded subconscious patterns in the brain that have formed over a long period of time through life's experiences. Could be formal education, could just be the way we were rewarded, not rewarded,
Right.
punished, what the environment gave us, how we responded to that environment, and that constant reflexivity with
Right.
the environment. And of course, when I say environment, I include people as well.
True.
So what we do is we use technology to understand these subconscious patterns. The brain does not function just in silos. So it's not like one part of the brain is responsible for one singular function exclusively. No.
Right.
There will be parts of the brain which are playing a dominant role. So maybe it's a hub for that function or that attitude or behavior. But then there are other parts which are like the spokes. So it's a hub and spoke model where data transfers within that network. And that's when, for example, your response to anxiety or stress comes to the fore. The anxiety network or the mood network or the default mode network. I could go on and on, but I don't want to bore you with too much jargon. So what we are trying to do, and honestly have successfully done it for maybe 20,000 plus individuals now in India and some from across the world as well, is help you understand why you are the way you are, what makes
Right.
you you, just by reading your subconscious brain network patterns, right? And it's done using very simple technology, completely non-invasive, where we place sensors all over your head
Right.
and read your brain waves for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then all of that data is analyzed and codified to help us understand how is the default mode network functioning, how is the anxiety network functioning, how are your executive function networks functioning in terms of chronic pain, your addiction reward networks, so on and so forth. So without asking you any questions, without making you go through a neuropsychological evaluation or a neurometric test, we are able to understand how your brain responds to all of these internal and external signals.
And all the tendencies that we have had over the years through our culture, through the other people, as you had mentioned. When you decipher from the overall work of 30 minutes, what is exactly the pattern that you are looking for? I mean, is there a solution that you're looking for, or how does the whole aspect work?
So first, let me take a step back. When we are talking about consciousness, I must say that whilst it's good to work on our consciousness, in the modern day, I'm not sure if it's possible or desirable to be consciously going through life every second, every moment of the day.
True.
Right? The human brain is bombarded with approximately 11 Mbps of data every second, 11 million bits per second. The conscious mind can only process between 10 to 50 bits, which means 99.999% of that data is being processed by your subconscious brain. So the whole purpose of the human brain currently is to learn using conscious methods. So, for example, learning how to drive a car.
Right.
On day one or for the first few months, you are consciously making sure your leg moves in a certain direction from the accelerator to the brake, or the left leg on the clutch and your hand on the gears, and you're steering in a particular way. But after a few months or few years of doing that, it's pretty much, in your, whether you call it muscle memory or it's essentially a learned subconscious pattern.
Yes.
Right? Same thing goes for any skill. Whether you're learning how to play cricket or any sport, or learning how to play a musical instrument, or learning how to sing or dance. So whether it's a skill, whether it's a cognitive ability, whether it's a behavior pattern, it is ingrained in your subconscious. The role of consciousness really is two parts in my mind here. One, to help you get all of these patterns into your subconscious, right? So at the learning phase, at the correction phase, right? And the second is when you need to use these skills, then in that moment, your consciousness delves into those patterns and make sure you're using them aptly at that moment, right? So your years of training as a batsman needs to be utilized consciously in that moment.
Right.
But the convex is not the case. You cannot consciously stand in a World Cup match and say, now I will stand in a particular way, my toe will face here, my arms will be holding the bat like this. No, you can't do that. Right? So I think there's a duality here, that how consciousness needs to be treated. And I think many of us, we perhaps give an undue level of importance to consciousness in our common daily dialogue, right? Without giving due importance to how the subconscious is really, driving us through life, right? The way we breathe, the way we sit, the way we will blink our eyes, nod our heads, react to anything is all ingrained in our subconscious. If there are corrections or improvements or enhancements to be made, certainly you will need to use consciousness to do that.
That is so awesome. I mean, listening to this, we can tackle things like addiction by changing, the subconscious habits and how it, it is just so beautiful. I mean, you can just change the whole game of a human being if it is in a negative direction, It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. My next question would be, I would like you to talk about why light as a medicine is something that if you can share.
Light has been used as a form of medicine since time immemorial, right? I mean, in Ayurveda, in naturopathy, or even if you go to other ancient civilizations, it was called heliotherapy. There were solariums, right, where it was just sunlight which was given to patients. Think of it this way. What is the original source of energy on our planet?
Sun.
The sun,
yeah.
Right? Without the sun, you will not have photosynthesis, right? So there's no food for you. The entire food chain,
it's gone.
Is non-existent.
Out of the window. Yeah.
Now, coming to the human body and why light is medicine. So one part, of course, is UV light and how that is used, in our body to make vitamin D, etc.
Right.
My area of research and, of course, our product is around using red and near-infrared light.
Okay.
And why that can be treated as therapy. So all of our cells have mitochondria, organelle. Mitochondria are like the powerhouse of our cells. Right. I would go to the extent of saying the reason we eat is to provide glucose to the mitochondria.
Right.
The reason we breathe is to provide oxygen to the mitochondria, right? But breathing and eating are primary ways of gaining energy, of generating ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is one of the many things that the mitochondria do. But ATP is the energy currency of the body, right? And most biological beings, actually, not just humans, right? If we don't generate enough ATP, so if the mitochondria are not doing their job well enough, that's called mitochondrial dysfunction.
Right.
There is now enough evidence globally published that one of the reasons why we age is because the mitochondria are now not performing as well. It's the mitochondrial theory of aging.
I see.
Most chronic ailments are because of mitochondrial dysfunction. Right? So if, for example, the human brain on an average will consume about 6 kilograms of ATP in a day. And with age, with, lifestyle, we are not maybe producing enough ATP. So that's where the deterioration starts, right? The simplest way to charge the mitochondria is with red and near-infrared light, because these wavelengths are absorbed easily by the mitochondria to produce nitric oxide and ATP. Now, come to think of it, when you are giving the body glucose, you're actually also taking a lot of effort because
to digest
and generate glucose.
Right.
When you're breathing, it's an effort, right? And there's a finite amount of breath work that you can do.
Right.
And as we know, you shouldn't be breathing too fast for too long.
Right.
Right. So then what is the most efficient form of energy? The purest form. It's light.
Right.
And when you think of mitochondrial functioning using red and near-infrared light, there is zero wastage. Right? There is no carbon dioxide generated. There is no defecation involved, no urination involved, no processing, which requires that kind of effort like digestion.
Right.
So this is one of the easiest forms of energy. And what does the body do when it suddenly is getting access to energy for which it didn't have to expend more energy? It uses it to fight inflammation.
Correct.
Uses it to fight aging.
Any disease.
Uses it to fight any chronic disease for real rest and repair. So that is called photobiomodulation, the technology of providing specific wavelengths of light to the body is photobiomodulation. We are focusing on the brain and the nervous system because the brain has the maximum concentration of mitochondria compared to any organ in the body. So on an average, for example, the heart, each cell in the heart has about 5,000 mitochondria. But each cell in the brain, so each neuron has about 2 million mitochondria. So it just makes that much more sense to
Right.
give light to the brain, to the nostrils,
Mhm.
and power up the brain, the energy metabolism network.
That is so beautiful. And while you were sharing why you chose light, it just occurred to me that over here in Heartfulness, we utilize the divine light to transform. And it is so subtle that that is the choice. And it was very interesting to see that you
Sure.
have chosen a similar kind. So, sir, I would go to the next question where you talk about interoception in the context of mind-body concept. Can you please explain and also comment on the dimensions of interoceptive awareness?
Sure. Great question. We live in an era where we are being told to track almost everything that we do.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a wearable on your finger.
Mhm.
You've got a wearable watch.
Oh,
You've got a glucose monitor on your arm.
patch. Yeah.
Let me ask you, do we all want to be more intuitive?
Yes.
Right? You spoke about refining our consciousness.
Absolutely.
One of the core elements of consciousness is intuition.
Yeah.
Right? Intuition relies on our basic instincts.
Yes.
Right? Some of the key instincts that we are born with is hunger,
Mhm.
defecation, fornication,
Breathing.
sleep.
Mm.
Those are the four main ones, right?
Right.
We could go a little deeper in terms of, homeostasis, etc.
Right.
We are already killing some of our instincts by outsourcing them to these wearables, right? So we're already saying, hey, eat according to what your wearable says. Otherwise, you're going to have this spike. I mean, I understand if somebody has, diabetes of a level which really needs, acute intervention over a period of time to
Right.
solve the chronicity. But the average person doesn't,
Yeah.
right? Or why should I be tracking my sleep if my sleep is not a problem,
Yes.
right? At Neuroleap, when we do brain mapping for people, and before we get to the enhancement sessions, so many people will say, well, my sleep is fine, I think, but since I started wearing this wearable, I realize it's not good. And I have a funny interaction I'll have with them, and I'll say, okay, so there's a new wearable coming in the market which will tell you when to poop. Right? And you have to aim for the best poop time, right? And they'll say, oh, really? What's it called?
Really? Seriously?
So I believe there's going to be a market for it. You heard it first.
Hope so not.
But think of it this way. If we are going to add a layer between our mind and body, we already have one layer, which is the smartphone.
Right.
Right? If we are going to add another layer, one to track our sleep, one for our food intake, which is, measuring glucose,
Right.
measuring heart rate, measuring blood pressure, steps, just about everything. And then we want to be intuitive. How does that work?
Two different directions.
Right? How does that work? How can you say that I want to make better decisions if when I wake up in the morning, I have to ask a gadget whether I slept well or not?
So,
What sort of decision-making ability are you leaving for your brain? What sort of mind-body awareness are you creating? So interoception is one of the cornerstones of good mental health and high performance. Just as you want to refine consciousness, you cannot refine consciousness unless you work on interoception, understanding your body. You cannot work on curing your anxiety or depression or your attention deficit or addiction of any kind unless you work on interoception. Let me give you another example. Several people will come in and say, oh, I've been doing counseling therapy. I've been going for 10 years, 15 years. Or somebody's been on antidepressants or anti-anxiety pills for decades. And, we'll do their brain map. We'll say, okay, these are the issues you've got. And by the way, we don't ask you any questions when we do your brain mapping. All of the data is just objective, what we get from your brain. No questions asked, right? So when we do this and, we'll speak to a client and say, well, so, are you well hydrated usually? They'll say, yeah, but what does that have to do with my anxiety and depression? Why are you asking me this? Or if we say, well, are you eating your meals on time? Again, I'm given a blank look, right? And I'm shocked that the psychiatrists and psychologists are not even making clients aware. I don't know if they are aware themselves or not, but they are not telling their patients about some of these basics.
Right.
So if, for example, if I tell you, Divya, that, it's a pretty warm climate right now at Kanha, you're not going to get any water from now till tomorrow 2 p.m., right? And you have to stand in the sun from noon to 2 p.m., right? Sweating, dehydrated. And then we're going to ask you to prepare for the next conference or for the next podcast interview with some intelligent questions and research. Do you think you'll be in the right frame of mind to do that?
Absolutely not.
So that is the ability at a very, very basic level to say, I am dehydrated. I am not low or sad or going into depression or whatever other word you want to use, right? Look at another example. Some days you have lunch at 1 p.m. Some days you have lunch at 4:30 p.m. What do you think is happening? Your brain is going to give a distress signal at some point in time because it doesn't know when it's getting its next dose of glucose.
It's confused.
It's not planned, right? So it's going to be going what you call in a hangry mode, right? What is hangry, right? Where the brain is running on dry fumes. It's running on exhaust fumes, right? Sleep. If you're going to be breaking your circadian rhythm, instead of going to bed at 10, if you're going to go to bed at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., how is your brain going to rest? How is it going to relax? How is the cerebrospinal fluid going to go up your spine to your brain, wash up all the muck, and be prepared for the next day? So there's enough evidence, enough research that just messing around with a few of these, your sleep, diet, hydration, nutrition, your the way you are planning your daily lifestyle, just some of those basics will lead to a disconnect between your mind and your body, right? And it's important for us to understand that interoception, or what is my body telling me, right? Because most of those signals, if you're able to catch, you will be able to do something about it rather than start Googling that symptom and then being, told that it is a disorder. Right. It is something that you've done or brought upon yourself, and it can be corrected.
Yes. Very beautifully you have put that, we are going away from the cues given by our body, not listening to those cues and depending on external gadgets and things to understand our own body instead of being sensitive towards it. So this brings me to the next question, sir. Do you develop the devices or are there any techniques and methods how to measure for the same?
Sure. So the light therapy, if we can call it that, photobiomodulation, we actually manufacture those devices in India. And we have a series of them. So it's 3 models right now, which basically radiates the brain and the nervous system with light.
Right.
So these are wearable devices. Very interestingly, they are India's first therapeutic wearables. So they don't measure anything. They straight out give you therapy by way of different wavelengths of light. So completely non-invasive, without any side effects. This is backed by about 7,000 research papers across the world over the last 60 years. None of them written by us, but it's all available in the public domain. And so that is something you can use yourself at home. The second part is our brain-computer interfaces, what we use for brain mapping, for the brain function assessment. That's not something we manufacture or sell. We use those devices, use that technology. So basically, a bunch of sensors which we place on your head, and they simply read your brain waves, right? They don't pass any electric current or magnetic waves into your brain. Let me also clarify, we don't use any AI.
Oh, right? Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people assume that we would be using AI. And I jokingly say that, no, I'm still dealing with my own natural human stupidity rather than artificial intelligence. So we read the brain waves, and then using the same technology, we do brain enhancement sessions where we are allowing session after session, entirely technology-based, the human brain to rewire its own neural pathways. So, for example, you mentioned about addiction a while ago.
Right.
If you know people who are chain smokers, right? And I'm sure you would know a few.
Yeah.
They are usually literate, highly educated, highly accomplished, smart individuals, right? Which means they are rational.
Right.
And they have the awareness and the knowledge that smoking is bad for their health.
Yeah.
Right? It's cancerous, cardiovascular risks, etc.
Right.
Why are they still not able to quit?
It's the high, the dopamine that, not dopamine, but it's the high that they are looking for, adrenaline rush. Maybe. I don't know.
So neuroscientifically, what's happened is the addiction reward network has been hijacked. It's gotten so dysregulated that they keep needing that reward again and again. And nothing else gives them that level of reward with that instant gratification, right? So you just light up, take a puff, and you feel good, right? You don't have to work hard for that gratification, right? So the network is so dysregulated, and it's in the subconscious. And like I said earlier, 95 to 99% of all your actions, your behavior, attitudes, habits is ingrained in your subconscious. So how much ever your consciousness is, aware that smoking is bad, it's going to give, dire consequences. You've seen it all the time. You're seeing those messages on television, in a cinema hall, on the cigarette pack itself. It's still not jarring you enough, right? So what we do is we keep mapping your brain in each session, and we do it at the speed of your subconscious thought. So every time you're there, we are mapping your brain, and you're looking at a television screen. And all we are telling you to do is just sit and relax. Every time we see your subconscious behaving better for a fraction of a second, we will show you a signal on the screen. A light and a sound will be played. And that's your cue that you have performed well. And we keep raising the bar every few minutes in that session, so that now your subconscious will only be rewarded if it performs better than the previous few minutes. So it's like a learning curve which keeps getting stronger but more difficult for the brain. So over a period of time, your brain has learnt how to perform better from within, right? Without you having to force that change. So that's the sort of brain enhancement sessions that we provide. And we've worked with over 20,000 people now.
Wow.
We've helped people quit smoking, quit hard drugs, or get rid of antidepressants, anti-anxiety pills, ADHD, bipolar disorder, insomnia, a whole host of issues. Of course, I would say about maybe 45 to 50% of our clientele are people who don't have any issues
Mm-hmm.
and who are simply just high performers, high achievers from all walks of life,
Mm-hmm.
and who want to keep
Better. They want-
enhancing
Mhm.
themselves, keep exploring a new level of peak performance.
Right.
So we enable that for them using the same technology.
So this is something which is just cropping up. It's so beautiful the way you're putting it, that we can alter the subconscious tendencies or activities that is happening, right? What is the age group? I mean, is there any age where you can start, or from early on it can be tapped
Sure.
into?
Look, in theory, we should be able to start at any age.
Mm-hmm.
But practically what we've noticed is it's usually around age 7.5 that we are able to get these children to sit
Mm-hmm.
and submit themselves to, getting sensors on their head,
Right.
sitting quietly
Hmm.
for some time. So practically age 7 and above is what we work with. Our oldest client is maybe in the mid-80s.
I see.
In theory, you should be able to work with clients up till the age of maybe 92, 94.
Mhm.
So we rely on a concept called neuroplasticity,
Yes.
which is the ability of the brain to change.
Adapt.
And now it's proven that the brain is plastic till well into the 90s,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of clients come to us and say, oh, I have this issue, but that's just my personality, so I'm sure you can't do anything about it. And I'm like, no, of course we can do everything
Mhm.
about it, because your personality is just a bunch of patterns.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And so please don't assume that you can't change. You can change at any age. We have a whole host of clients who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s,
Hmm.
who have completely transformed themselves. The way they respond to stressful situations, their anxiety, their overthinking, their decision making, their creativity,
Mhm.
all of it. Even their spiritual practice. So there are so many people who come to us saying, I want to meditate, but I just can't.
Mhm.
Because every time I close my eyes and start being quiet or try to be with myself, all my past trauma comes to me.
Crops up.
I go down in a spiral with my anxiety, or I start getting really negative, depressive thoughts, right?
Hmm.
Because that's how those subconscious patterns have got hardwired
Right.
through life,
Hmm.
through some traumatic experiences or whatever it has been.
Hmm.
And so once we do our enhancement sessions, after maybe 20, 30, 40 sessions, when they're out of those, negative sort of patterns, they're completely transformed, because now they're doing things which they were not able to do earlier.
Right.
Learning things,
Mhm.
looking at life in a different way. Their mindset changes, their perspectives change.
It's so beautiful. It's like fresh breath of air. A new window has just opened in your life if you're altering something in a subconscious pattern.
Right.
Um,
I must clarify there that we are not altering it, right?
yes.
We are simply providing the brain the right feedback,
Right.
and with a lot of precision. So you have to do this very carefully,
Mhm.
under close guidance, and using the right technology, the right expertise. And as long as we do it right, the human brain is smart enough.
Yes.
We are all hardwired for progress.
Yes.
Now, because we are hardwired for progress, we just need to show the brain the right direction, give it the right feedback with the right speed, the right precision, and the right guidance. And it starts learning, it starts correcting its ways by itself.
It adapts.
Absolutely.
This is so hopeful, because these days, in today's world, exposure to smartphones and internet is something which is just, you can say, hijacking the brains of young ones and leading to so many different types of addictions. And knowing that there is a way out, it is really hopeful and beautiful.
Yeah. And you said it yourself, we can't do away with the smartphone. We can't live without the internet anymore.
Right.
So modern problems require modern solutions.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer of an integrative approach where we can use modern technology instead of using modern medicine, where we can use non-invasive techniques. But you combine all of this and objective data that we get. You combine all of this with ancient wisdom that our forefathers, left us with. And I thought, for some time we had let it go. We had sort of veered away, but now we are coming back to it. And that integrative approach, and we practice some of that with our clients. And I think that is the most powerful thing, because if you're able to integrate, spirituality, if you're able to integrate learnings about circadian networks, learnings about seasonality, about Ayurveda, about the gut-brain connection, the heart-brain connection. Some of that we have tremendous amounts of data with. So when we do the brain map, we actually understand also about your gut-brain connection. We understand about your heart-brain connection. And if we integrate that with, Vedic wisdom, I think that's a winning proposition for everyone.
Right. So on that note, I have my next question for you, because we just finished with our seminar over here in Kanha. And this is the first time that you're visiting Kanha Shanti Vanam. I would like to ask you, how was it? How was your experience being here?
It's been fantastic, I must say. I practice meditation, not as much as I should be. But when you enter the premises, yes, of course, the ambience has a role to play. It's lush, green, clean, well-maintained. But if you dig deeper, then there's a certain vibe, right? And it's because of the collective meditation being done here every day for so many years in such large numbers, that collective harmony, the collective vibration, the energy that is generated, you just need to be perceptive enough. And that's again where interoception comes in, where you need to be able to sense some of this. And as soon as I entered the premises, within a few minutes, I could feel that. So congratulations to all of you and to Daji for maintaining that, for creating that, and for propelling it forward.
Right. And as you mentioned that you do meditate, different kinds of meditation you have tried. So how was your experience with the heartfulness meditation? This is the first time you did it, I'm assuming.
Right. No, it's great as well. And like I said, each person's brain patterns and networks are different. And different types of meditation will appeal to people at different points in time. So a certain type of meditative activity will appeal at a certain time during the day, right? Or at a certain time of your own evolution, depending on your work, whether you're a student or a researcher, business owner, etc. What I have found is heartfulness is a great way to meditate. I also like, just focusing on the breath. I have found that to be, very calming and energizing for me, and centering at the same time. I also enjoy Bhramari pranayam. I have noticed that if you do it enough and do it well, it puts me in an altered state for sure. So I try and sort of do a combination of some of these. Like I said, not often enough. Perhaps after this visit to Kanha, I'm going to start meditating more.
That is so nice to hear. That is about it. Thank you so much, sir, from the entire Heartfulness family, for gracing us with your presence in the seminar, as well as gracing us with the podcast. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. It's been an honor to be here.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of KanaCast. Do subscribe to KanaCast on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Until the next episode, from the entire KanaCast team, namaste and goodbye.